there.
I gotta
Now
add
it's
an
on.
Ooh,
avatar.
let's see.
I think
Audience,
that fixed it.
can you hear us now?
Can you hear me now?
All right, let us know. We're technical difficulties. All right, Smokey's acting like they can hear us. So,
Good.
and we're having a grand old time with all of the technical difficulties. So, all
Yeah,
right.
so it looks like we weren't on stage.
Yeah.
Well,
There's not a
you
lot of
were, and then
indicator
I
whether
think you
you're
went
on or
off.
not.
Well, you were, and then I think you went off stage when I switched mics.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Oh.
All right. So to reiterate for the third time,
And I've got to get the rest of the way into
yeah,
costume.
we have had an attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump while he was at a Butler, Pennsylvania rally. We have that the shooter, um, while attempting to take out former President Trump, missed him, but still caused, either through it's being now kind of reported that it might have been shrapnel from a teleprompter or a grazing wound. He was injured in his ear, but we also have a fatality in the audience with another in critical condition, apparently from wounds from the shots that were fired by the shooter. The shooter was outside of the venue on a prefabricated agricultural stainless steel style building with a flat roof. He apparently is also no longer with us, but no one cares about that. Twitter has
Yes.
allegedly reported his identity. And that information supposedly came from Butler, Pennsylvania law enforcement, but it hasn't been picked up by mainstream news yet. So I don't feel comfortable, saying that that is the actual person. The person that it was reported to be was allegedly an active Antifa member. Clearly had
Shocker.
issues with President Trump and his politics. The incident itself is, I think, unfortunately, now we know that loss of life did occur is a tragedy. But on the other hand, from a political sense, Donald Trump came out of it, I mean, looking iconic. You've got a photo of him raising his fist in defiance as he's
Yeah, we can
bleeding
bring it
from
up to the
his,
front.
yeah. He was chanting "fight, fight, fight" as the Secret Service was pulling him off the stage. Um, we really got lucky because with what appears to be a completely open sight line from the building this man was set up on, a shooter with experience and training should have been able to make that shot fairly easy. If I mean, they were talking probably around 500-600 feet, maybe, from where he was to where the stage was. So that's
It's a
around
good thing
200 yards.
Trump is an animated talker instead of just standing there like a corpse, like Biden. But
Okay.
and I assume the reason that most of you are here now is because of the complete lack of trust that we should have in the actual media. I did want to go through the headlines real quick that came
Oh,
out.
these are terrible, like CNN and New York Times.
Yeah, the Associated Press. Donald Trump has been escorted off stage by Secret Service during a rally after loud noises ring out in the crowd, with a picture of him bloodied. NBC News. Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after popping noises heard at Pennsylvania rally. USA Today. Trump removed from stage by Secret Service after loud noises startles former president and the crowd.
Startles.
Secret Service, this one's CNN. Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after he falls at rally. And that's why you can't trust the mainstream media. And yeah, we may not be reporters, but we've been following it more. I mean, my Twitter blew up the second it happened. Everybody was tagging me on stuff.
Well,
So
and if you look at Twitter, one of the subjects trending right now is that it's staged. Like, there's a whole bunch of people trying to say this thing is staged.
well, there's that, and earlier the in the trending it was how do you miss from that distance?
I would just like to say that anybody under the Alex Jones rules, anybody who says this was staged can now have to
A
owe
billion
people
dollar
a billion
lawsuit.
dollars. So I'm
That's
interested to see when
true.
that rule gets applied.
Yeah.
It was interesting. So right after it happened, Trump grabs for his ear, and you can see he's in pain from the injury. Not too bad, but he starts kneeling, and the Secret Service swarms him and creates basically a human dog pile to create meat shields around the president, for lack of a better term. And as they're getting him up, once the shots seem to have stopped, and they're going to be trying to get him off stage, you can hear on the hot mic, because he was at his rally, Trump saying, "Wait, let me get my shoes." He's like, he wants to get his shoes back on, and
Yep. He
Trump.
wanted to walk away from it. He did
Yeah,
not want
Trump.
to.
This is where I think there is something very uh, unique about Trump as a politician. He has a sense for how his image is going to be seen, way more than a lot of politicians do. So he did manage to stop and start chanting "fight," and put his fist up defiantly. I think he had a very strong sense that these were going to be images that would go out, and he didn't want to have to be projecting any kind of weakness as a result.
Yeah. Definitely the case. And I am trying to bring up some of the video from it. I'm just trying to find some of the more quality video of it.
Yeah, I
But
just looked in Twitter. The top trending right now are shooter, hashtag false flag, president of the United States, and civil war.
here, we'll bring up this one because apparently it has now been confirmed that the shooter was the guy up there because Secret Service has now gone up and taken care of the body.
Yep. So this is how someone gets. You want
I
to have
mean,
a lot of
Bongino was
faith.
talking about it. You have a perimeter that is established, right? But this is also there's residential all around here, and of course, buildings like these. Just a little bit of ways. You can't set an unlimited perimeter, but kind of unacceptable. I mean,
I
if
would
he's
feel
out there
like,
just on the roof, they should have had eyes on that.
yes. I mean, the it is well known the Secret Service detail for the president travels with counter snipers who set up along wherever the president is doing his business to be able to deal with events. And the idea that someone would have the ability to climb up on it, you don't just immediately lay down and take a shot. There's a couple minutes of setup.
Right.
You'd think that people would have zones where they're scanning to see. I mean, especially in a rural zone, you would think the top of a building would be one of the areas you'd be keeping eyes on. There's going to be I mean, it is. I don't want to say the Secret Service is in less trouble than when we initially thought someone got into the crowd with a gun.
Right. Because Bongino was even talking about how that could happen. Um, he said there have been cases of it where basically somebody, since they know the rally is going to be there, they go and bury a gun, weeks in advance, and then dig it up once they get in past security. But that doesn't appear to be the case here, obviously. Um, just found this
They
one.
may have staged the rifle,
They
so
could
that all
have.
they had to do was go up there and grab the gun, take the shot. But
But here's the distance. Trump is where this white dot is, and this is the roof the guy was on.
yeah,
So
an
200 feet,
experienced
so
shooter with a
about 400
properly
feet.
sighted in weapon would have been able to make that shot. I think we got lucky.
I think Trump got very lucky.
Yeah, I mean, that's someone who may not have known, at distance, even a slight windage or thing can throw, you have to adjust. And like Slender said, now he may be using like, if Trump's wearing body armor, which every modern politician should be wearing lightweight body armor underneath their clothes, that should easily stop even a 5.56 round, and the kind that they're giving Trump is probably capable of stopping a 308 round.
After Reagan.
Honestly, I mean, Reagan was a 22, which
Well,
is,
that's the other thing, though, right? Like, capable of stopping one.
well, that's the plan. Like, I mean, if you've got the soft body armor, you're gonna, even if you have plates, if you're wearing ceramic plates, they can absorb one before they usually are compromised, right?
Yeah. They'll
No,
absorb one, the second one will probably shatter them, and the third one will probably go right through.
yeah. So the idea would be if you're the Secret Service, you know that you're not always going to be able to jump in front of the line of fire. So if you're wearing body armor, if the president, in this case former president, is wearing the body armor, it'll stop that round and give you enough time to make that human shield.
Hmm.
To-
Yep.
So this time the shooter apparently was going for a headshot, which is more difficult.
I don't know. He may have been going for a headshot. The headshot may have been, it may not have been the first shot. It'll be interesting. I mean, there's already some pictures that can't tell if they're doctored or not, but there might be a hole around the chest on Trump's jacket. So
Ooh,
he may have taken one to a vest. Hard to say.
we have
I
a
doubt we'll know. But the recoil could have
possible
had the second shot go high, and then, I mean,
Well,
from
you definitely see him grab his ear after it gets hit.
right,
You see that's in the footage.
yeah, we know it. He definitely got grazed, but that could have, like Chad was saying, that could have been from shrapnel from a teleprompter exploding from a bullet or something. But we don't see any of that, so
Yeah, I didn't.
I'm more of the opinion that it probably did graze him.
I think it
But
was the round.
yeah,
In all honesty, I think it was the round.
he reacted so quickly that I think it
I
probably
mean,
did
when they
graze him.
say shrapnel from the prompter, it could have still been portions of the actual round that have, you know,
Yeah,
Oh
if you
yeah.
watch enough GunTube, you'll know unless you're using really high speed cameras, you're not going to be picking up like,
Well,
the
and when the
round
lead
traveling.
does hit something, I mean, the bullet basically explodes and like all
but
the
I
little
would think that we
pieces.
would have seen a teleprompter explode too.
That's what I
Yes.
Because you
think.
can see the teleprompters are still on the podium,
Yeah.
and neither of them looks damaged
Yep. If you want to share
after he's
my
down.
if you want to share my screen, Brahma, we've got a possible incoming scandal. So this is coming out. A source familiar with Trump's security detail tells federals that former and future president's detail has been asking for beefed up protection and resources for weeks, but has been rebuffed by Biden's DHS. DHS, which oversees Secret Service protective detail, wasn't responsive to the request for more resources. Was Biden's regime? I wouldn't say the other part. I'm not going to necessarily get
Yeah,
into,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
wouldn't
but I
this
say
will
is
that.
super
say,
conspiracy
yeah,
theorying.
I would say that since Joe Biden doesn't tend to believe that Trump actually has people at his rallies, he probably doesn't understand the threat.
yeah, and it's scary. Like if it is authentic that Biden's DHS was denying
Dude, Smokey's
resources.
comment, I heard that too. And anyone who listened to the footage, that is not the sound a BB gun makes. Not even close.
No, not even a CO2 powered BB gun is making actual thump, thump, thump noises.
Now, I
Anyone
initially
who says
thought,
that sounded like a BB gun is not familiar with the recoil sound of a firearm and should probably see their way out of this fucking conversation because that is asinine. That is an asinine statement to make.
I kind of thought it sounded like, I mean, because it is at distance, it sounded like a 22 to me because of where they were picking it up. But I think that's because they were, they had the cameras and things towards Trump on the stage. So a
Well, and that's
5.56
another
round,
like the
yeah,
Doppler of the weapon. Like even if you're behind the firearm pulling the trigger or downrange from the firearm, it sounds very different depending on what side of the weapon you're on. Where that shot's coming from, how that shot is traveling across your hearing. It's really weird.
oh, Trump has put out a Truth Social. Let me share that.
It's not the fake meme one from earlier.
I don't think so. This looks like it's a real statement.
Okay.
Trump says, I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all law enforcement for their rapid response on the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed and also the family of another person that was badly injured. It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter, who is now dead. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. God bless America.
Yep.
So,
Well, and since this one's picking up steam on Twitter,
is
let's
this
go
our
ahead and watch
BBC
this one.
interview? Yeah.
Yeah, let's watch this one because this is the guy saying that he flat out told them that there was something going on and they ignored him.
And watch and listen to the rally, right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, But we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely.
So he didn't even
we're
stage
pointing
the
at
rifle.
him.
He just
The police are down
Wow.
there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up
you
there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service.
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
him? Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh, yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot
Calm
the
down,
guy.
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the
Yep.
counter
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof.
You could
they
hear
had
it in
their
the
guns
video.
pointed at
Like,
him, make sure
there's
he was
the initial
dead.
shots,
He was dead,
and
that was
then
it.
there's the
It was over.
response shots that just light up
And
in
watch the ring.
succession.
much faster shots
They're like
too.
pop, 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 pop.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, that was. I was watching with my father.
They probably did go for a headshot, because if he was prone on the roof, that's it. The head's the only target.
Yeah, it's possible, likely.
I was watching with my father and we were talking about it, and he was like, there's a lot of shots, and I was like, well, no, there's the initial burst, and then that second is a loud, almost really continuous kind of burst of fire. That's probably the police and
Return
Secret
fire.
Service response, and that's why it stopped. He was
Yep.
like, where even if the Secret Service counter snipers weren't initially paying attention, as soon as those shots came in, they all would have turned their attention and released. So it's in that regard, they did the job as intended. There's an official statement now from the Secret Service where they indicate actually 2 rally goers are actually in critical condition, not just one. So with 1 fatality and 2 in critical.
But they're still reporting the fatality plus 2 now.
Yeah, the Secret Service statement says 1 spectator was killed, 2 spectators were critically injured. The incident is currently under investigation, and the Secret Service has formally notified the Federal Bureau of Investigation. So it is now we've increased it, which makes sense. I think there was it definitely sounded like 4 or 5 shots were initially let loose before the return fire.
Bring this up just to look at it. So this is where people are thinking that possibly you've got a bullet hole in the jacket.
Oh, you think he took one to the chest?
That's what people are saying, but it also looks like it could be part of the Secret Service agent's shoulder, the dark spot. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
or like it could be a rip. Like, I mean, the dude did hit the deck and then have a whole bunch of Secret Service agents tackle him to try and keep him covered.
yeah,
And honestly, like we were talking about, if a shot did get through to that center mass zone, that was probably the safest place for Trump for that type of round to have hit. It was the body armor probably would have. I mean, he would have bruising from the kinetic, energy of it stopping, but he's probably maybe, I guess, at worst, if it was a higher power caliber round, maybe some cracked ribs. But he definitely wouldn't have probably had penetration and death. In fact, they make suits now, the actual suit jackets, in addition to the body armor underneath. I mean, John Wick is not making it up. You can get tailored suits that have body armor level and knife defense built in, where
yeah,
it's
it's
level
just not to
3.
the John Wick level.
Yeah, no, I mean, John Wick is ridiculous, but they'd be the equivalent of what's called level 3 soft body armor, which is small calibers and those. I mean, it would be an extra layer. The main thing that they would get you is knife protection. It actually, it's almost like it's a tight weave where a knife can't penetrate. You would get blunt force damage, but not a knife stabbing you.
Yeah, 152 yards is about what we're hearing too, about 400 and 450 feet.
Yep. Which is
There's an interesting picture that just got posted. Don't know if it's a fake, but just because it's interesting, we'll pull it up real quick. So apparently, there's a still photograph where you can actually see the bullet whizzing by. At least that's what they claim it to be.
I mean,
Who
it
knows?
could be.
It's possible, but I mean,
Without a high speed, like I said, if you ever watch gun tubers, they have like really, you have to set up a really high speed camera to actually track bullets
with an incredibly high shutter speed.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Like that
And
that
Right.
shutter speed wouldn't cut in it.
But that one would just be getting lucky.
I mean, if the one thing would be that no one's going to be getting photographed and recorded more than Trump at one of his rallies, there's going to be cameras from every angle, video from every angle. Stuff will, I mean, every one of the people in the stands probably had their cell phone recording. Over the next couple days, if there is actual video where you can see the rounds, it'll probably come out. But I think that's kind of I mean, at this point, that's really kind of moot, right? We know where the shooter was. We know that Trump
Holy shit,
was
dude!
struck.
Like already hashtag false flag staged incident assassination attempt breaking news shooter they missed one job BB gun incident trend. Remember how the Nazis staged the Reichstag fire, blamed the communists, and then seized full power, giving Donald Trump or Adolf Hitler dictatorial powers? These people are freaking insane.
And this is why I don't necessarily agree with everyone who's immediately like saying landslide, 50 states. No, we have hardcore tribes. I mean, there's going to be at least 35 to 40% of the population at this point in time in the United States who will not, even
Well, the
with all
tribes
this.
were never going to move. It's the middle that you've got to
Yeah.
get.
Now, the thing is, the tribes control enough states that, like California, Massachusetts, etc., like the really captured states aren't like. I was getting messages from family members who were like, "Oh, Trump's going to win all 50 states." I was like, even Reagan didn't win 50 states, right? In 1984, he won 49. So, like, there. I was like, explain to me how Trump's going to win California as a result. No, he
Right.
won't. He won't win Massachusetts. He won't, like, there's hardcore states where he won't win. But what it probably will mean is that it will be under the current conditions without a shakeup, which could still happen with Biden being removed. Under current conditions, if it's Trump and Biden, Trump is probably in a very good position to run the table on the blue wall that he had knocked over in 2016. This happened in Pennsylvania. There's going to be a rally around the flag, more acute in the rural parts of Pennsylvania probably than anywhere else, where they're going to want to prove, like, that's not what we're all about. So, so I think Pennsylvania becomes more Trump. Wisconsin Michigan, all the states that were Trump maybe half point to a point right now is where the polling lead was, become more Trump friendly. Arizona and other states probably go even further. Georgia, North Carolina. I mean, he would be back into the 320 type range for electoral college fairly easy. Maybe even taking all New Hampshire. Like, and then if it's still Biden, you're going to start looking at states like Minnesota and uh, Virginia, possibly. I still wouldn't put much faith in Virginia actually being on the table, but it still would mean that there's, if anything, this incident puts more pressure on Biden and the people trying to remove him from the Democratic ticket than even before, because you if you want a perfect juxtaposition of the two people, Biden can't even get, like, stay focused for a debate, and Trump is standing up right after getting shot and, like, defiantly holding his fist up and leading a chant. You you need to change that narrative and try to shake things up. The Obama people who are working behind the scenes to try to remove a good old Uncle Joe from the ticket are probably going to feel even stronger that he needs to go to have any shot.
Well, especially with the weak response and how long it took for it. I mean, other former presidents were able to get statements out before Biden managed to do
Friggin'
anything.
people from
None
England
of
were
his
able to
social
get
media
statements out.
people were saying anything before him just going live. I mean, even his usual idiot running his Twitter account wasn't getting anything done. So, yeah, that doesn't.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe the idiot
Like
running his
all things
Twitter
with
account
Biden,
was
it
on top
doesn't.
of a roof in Pennsylvania.
Right.
Dude,
Like all things with
holy
them, it
crap.
doesn't project any strength.
They're flooding Twitter with this false flag stuff. Whenever there is a school shooting, MAGA screams hashtag false flag. If there is a time to scream false flag, it is now.
Well, most of the time when there's a school shooting, we say, let's see who the shooter was, and what they were actually
Yeah, I'm
about.
still waiting to see if
Odd
those
timing,
documents are
this
going to come out from the
attempted
Nashville one.
assassination right before the Republican convention, and right after the new Marist poll rated A+ found Biden up 2 points over the criminal sociopath. Check for the shooter's Cayman account.
Yeah, BS on that Marist poll, by the way. I mean, I was deep diving the crosstabs, and it is
So the Republicans plus Don the Con, who use violent political rhetoric more than any pollster in the U.S. history, plus don't want any gun regulation, are up in arms about a fake shooting attempt at a rally. Get the fuck out of here. These people are insane. Wow.
All right, I'm gonna bring up this video. Boosh, it's got nothing in it that's gonna be a problem. I haven't gotten to.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen this one. This is she's in New York.
This lady in Times Square at, well, it was an hour and 35 minutes ago at this point. Well, that's when it was posted. I don't know when she posted the original video. We get an audio?
Just got the news that President Donald Trump has been shot, and I am completely shocked. I've heard it appears he's okay, but look behind me. I'm in the center of Times Square. There's huge video monitors behind me, huge TVs behind me. Not a single report on the news about the president being shot. Now, on the other side of Times Square, we're looking over Times Square. This is the center of New York. You see all those video monitors outside? Right? See all this? None of them are reporting that the presidential candidate for the Republican Party has been shot. Not a word. Look at that. If anybody has any doubt about the depth of the censorship and propaganda that we are living in the 21st century in 2024, have no doubts anymore. Presidential candidate has been shot, and not a single mention of it in the center of Times Square. All of these videos, right? All of these videos.
That's something else.
Crazy. But it also took Fox News almost an hour and a half to say that it was a shooting, because the White House wouldn't say it was a shooting. They kept saying it's unconfirmed, everything's unconfirmed. It's like, we've already seen the gunman's body. I'm pretty sure it can be confirmed. You've already got bodies being moved out of there with bullet wounds in them. What do you need to confirm something like that? It's kind of crazy. I mean, we had more information on Twitter in the first 15 minutes than Fox or probably I didn't check out the other ones, but than Fox or any of the mainstream media was putting out there.
Yep.
Chad?
And
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's really, we're very lucky that we have Twitter as a non captured entity. I mean, Twitter still has problems. I'm not saying, or X, gotta call it X. X still has problems into how they moderate and do other things, but compared to any other social media place, I mean, the amount of information we were able to get, videos being shared, real time responses. If you didn't have, I mean, if you didn't have X, or formerly known as Twitter, I think it would have been a lot different. They would have tried to like go with. I mean, we saw the headlines: Trump escorted off stage. Right? They would have tried to bury this until they absolutely had to confirm. It would have been the 11 o'clock news where they finally talked about it.
Yeah. So the whole thing's pretty crazy. I mean, not what I thought we were going to be doing today. I was getting ready for bourbon and boarding, and I don't think we're going to do the show tonight because I don't think anybody's going to give a crap about hockey right now, and I don't think anybody will stop streaming about this anytime this evening. So, I mean, we'll definitely have our show tomorrow and go over the latest stuff. But
here's a
weird historic day.
To speak to what Slender was talking about, we got Defiant L's with the Harry Sisson. His current tweet today: political violence is never okay under any circumstances. The shooting at Trump's rally is absolutely unacceptable. Let's beat him at the ballot box, not any other way. Not even 2 weeks ago, according to the Supreme Court, Biden could now send in SEAL Team 6 to take all of them out. He could send in the military to take out Trump. He has immunity for official acts now.
Yeah, yep. They turn on a dime, don't they?
Well, did any of us really expect this not to happen at some point? I mean,
I was.
I think we've been expecting something like this for months now.
From the red speech before Trump was even running, it's all about how MAGA is extremist and they're fascist and they're evil. When you're telling somebody that people are literal Nazis in this day and age, what you get is somebody who's going to act upon that, because if they see it as an existential threat, every time the guy's mentioned or every time any of his voters are mentioned, what else can that lead to?
Allegedly, Trump is going to be going to the UFC event tonight.
It'll be great if he shows up, but I don't know that Secret Service is going to allow that at all.
I don't know that Secret Service. Trump seems like the guy who does what he wants sometimes, and so, although a UFC event is probably more secure than what we just saw,
right? And he's been at plenty of them, so they're used to getting those secure for him. No Soul Assassin. I didn't see what Grace Randolph tweeted.
Oh, did she?
I don't follow Grace.
Let's see what she had to say. I'll look it up. I would like to live in an America where we can disagree without hurting each other. That applies not just to today with Trump, but the past with Pelosi and Whitmer and all days ahead. There's too much hate in the world. We are all spiraling out of control. Whitmer was 100%
FBI sting op.
Yeah, it was
12 of the what, 16 people that were involved were undercover?
Were feds, including one who ended up being prosecuted for spousal abuse later. But I have a lot of issues with the Whitmer thing. That was tricking some podunk like people into trying to do something that they never would have done on their own. That's the what is it? The definition of entrapment is what they were doing in that case.
Yeah. They were the ones who brought all the plans to the table.
This is what I expected. I mean, if you lived through 9/11 and saw how we did have a national kind of unifying moment that did evaporate fairly quickly when it shouldn't have. Now, part of it was mismanagement on the part of the Bush administration in what they decided they needed to do. but part of it was just because you were going to naturally reorient right back to your standard camps. It was going to happen anyway. I mean, there used to be an old saying in politics that the division ended at the border, right at the waterline. That after, once you leave the United States, we're one united block as a country, and that's been not true for a very long time.
Yeah. Grace basically said she's still voting Democrat despite all this. I mean, it does not surprise me that somebody wouldn't change their vote over this.
I wasn't.
What I think is more likely to happen is the left is just going to be apathetic about getting out a vote for Joe Biden at this point.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of where your popular vote and landslide are going to possibly take place. And landslide being a modern landslide, not a Reagan landslide. No doubt election, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing Slender is like staged to gain votes, and it's not real, whatever. Yeah, not even, I mean, this isn't even hours. These people are responding within minutes this way. So
well, and they're seeing their political leaders say that it happened, and they're still not going to believe them. So, but loud car, hold on.
Well, I mean, at least Grace still has the acolyte to fall back on, so she can enjoy that.
But I mean, Trump now, look at all the street cred, felony convictions. He's got, multiple baby mamas. He's been shot. More street cred for Trump there.
Dude, he's like Biggie and Tupac without the getting killed.
Right.
It looks like Grace did do a tweet where she said that she was going to still vote Democratic November, come November, but she deleted it. Probably realized that her, not all of her audience is 100% on board with what she, thinks, and she's already hemorrhaging.
She's already hemorrhaging, yeah.
Yeah, she's gone down like thousands and thousands of viewers,
her acolyte
subscribers.
Stuff has killed her as it's taken other people up.
Yeah, I know. We've got a lot of views on the video I made already.
Dude, the libs are trying to stick him for his papers.
It is. There's a lot of. I mean, we've got the RNC next week.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, their initial plan was to have him already convicted and probably in jail. I mean,
yeah, the initial sentencing
was supposed to be last
July
week.
11th.
Yep. So it would have been at the end. It would have been on Friday or Thursday or Friday. Thursday. And everyone said, oh, there's no way he would get sentenced to prison. I was like, no, I expected Mershon to immediately incarcerate him.
Yeah.
And deny bail. Like, you're starting your term until and to make him have to appeal up to the New York, like higher level courts to get bail while he's appealing.
Yeah.
But that all went out the window when the Supreme Court did their immunity decision, which, by the way, also Trump's lawyers have filed paperwork in the E. Jean Carroll defamation case because their defamation claim against Trump was while he was a sitting president making public statements. And the Supreme Court decision was fairly clear that with the bully pulpit being a main power of the president to share information as the president, that is pretty much broadly considered an official act with anything he's commenting on. So there's a good possibility that gets tossed under the presidential immunity decision as well.
There's no way Trump stops doing rallies. I mean, if anything, that's what they want to come out of this. And there's no way he stops doing rallies.
I doubt he'll even agree to a Pope shield.
I think he should have a Pope shield. I think he needs to
should.
be in a little. He should have a ballistic shield up in front of him at all times.
I don't think it would even be that hard to set one up, maybe offset, maybe about 30, 40 feet away from him, just like a perimeter kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I think his personality and his ego will keep him from doing a Pope shield.
I mean, we'll have a good idea about it tonight. If he shows up at that USC, I mean, part of me knows that like Trump won't be able to resist the narrative that comes from like, I'm going right back out.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what kind of shape he's in. I mean, I figure he'll have a wrap around his ear or whatever, but it'll be interesting to see if he did take one to the vest. You know, if he's going to be raising his arm or doing anything like that tonight. Because remember, he's 78 years old. He did get shot, and he got
Mhm.
tackled by a whole bunch of young people.
I mean,
Secret Service.
he was raising the arm on the side that would have had that bullet
Yes, he
penetration.
Yeah,
was.
but adrenaline can do a lot of
Yeah, that's
things.
true.
That's also true.
You can feel broken ribs. You
Yeah,
know,
10 minutes after they got him off stage, he may very well have been like, "Ow!"
Oh yeah,
but that's
and
still
if
just speculation on whether that even happened. I mean,
now
it's a picture blown up 800 times.
Yeah.
I've never had I've known that bruised and cracked ribs can be one of the more annoying injuries just because even if they're treated,
Oh,
the
they're
act of
horrible. You can't do anything.
breathing just causes pressure from you can't stop breathing and you're
Right.
creating pressure on the ribs expanding every time you inflate your lungs.
I had
So
some back when I played soccer in high school. And yeah, it's extremely painful. If you've got allergies, it's even worse because a sneeze is it's debilitating. I mean, it's bad.
yeah, so I mean I'm looking forward to because I guess the UFC event tonight is I don't know what time it starts. It might even be starting. He usually shows up a little later into the event for the stuff, but the crowd would
Yeah,
go
he's just there for
nuts.
the main event. The warm ups, he didn't watch that crap.
But the foot like the crowd would go nuts. Twitter's gonna go nuts. I mean, I don't think he resists it if he was already planning on doing it, which I don't think he's missed a UFC event lately. So uh I gotta say that I think there's my if I was putting money on it, I would bet that Trump's gonna show up. Now, what kind of shape he is in, I don't know, but the crowd's gonna go nuts. People are gonna be all over him,
Well, the main
not in the
event should
bad
be
way.
in what, another hour or two, typically.
The main event tonight is well, let's see, that's the women's main event. Why do it show me? Why is ESPN showing the? I mean, this is ridiculous. Although it could be the main event. I know when Ronda Rousey was there, that was like the actual headline main event.
I won't share specific people, but um, I did invite Carrie Smith on, and she's actually at a wedding with a whole bunch of YouTubers right now. So they were all in the middle of the wedding when everybody found out. So that had to have been wild.
That's crazy. No, I just need to look on who's not streaming.
I'm so sick of this neighborhood.
You need to move out to the Mid Atlantic. It's where all the cool kids hang out.
Yeah.
No thanks. I'll go out into the middle of nowhere in Texas.
If
Colorado
you
is
come out my
gone.
way, you can have your own mountain. I've got
That's
one.
true.
It's pretty awesome.
He's like the guy in Braveheart. He's like, I told you, it's my mountain.
It's
island.
my mountain.
Yeah, it looks like the UFC is going on now. It's fine. He'll be
Well,
there
the
at some point.
pre-fight goes on for hours before the actual main event, and he doesn't typically show up until they introduce the special guest for the main event type stuff. At least from what I've seen, I don't watch a lot of UFC, so typically I just see when he enters, and it's already really popping in there. So that's usually later in the event.
Yeah, I like this tweet from Clay Travis. Trump was 1 inch from being dead on the spot, and his first instinct was to legit pump his fist and let everyone know he was alive.
And
The
tell people,
election,
tell the Secret Service, I want my shoes.
yeah.
So did they tackle him out of his shoes?
Apparently, I mean, who knows? That was basically a rugby scrum. By the time, I mean, there was what it looked like 8 to 10 agents on top of him.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, I'm seeing the same image you are with now that bullet image is being shared all over the place.
Yeah, it's all over the place now.
How was it? Yeah, here's a good question. How is a sniper with a full rifle kit allowed to bear crawl onto the closest roof to a presidential nominee? That is a good question that
I
is going
think
to have to be answered.
there's going to be some people at the Secret Service that are going to be losing their jobs.
Or in this case, getting reassigned to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office.
And if that report is true that Secret Service, that Trump's detail has requested more people and DHS said no, then you're going to have some major inquiries going on real quick. Where did you say that you had seen that one, or that you was that tweeted out earlier?
Which thing?
The thing about him requesting extra. Well, his
that was
detail requesting extra.
yeah, that was out of a reporter for the Federalist was tweeting that out.
Okay.
So he didn't get the rifle through security. He climbed up on top of a building outside the perimeter.
Correct.
Yeah, he was outside the perimeter. But you should have line of sight on all of those buildings.
Yeah, they should have been watching that building either way. And
So
I mean, we
looking
already
at the
saw footage. People were trying to tell people, "Hey, there's a guy climbing up on a building with a rifle." So
yeah, Vic Fontaine's got a good point. Yeah, and Brahma, when he pulled up the Google like Earth image, that was the only building really in the vicinity.
That's the closest one. Yeah,
That's the closest one. How? I mean, I know that we talked about when Bongino was talking about, you can't secure every space and around it, but you know what? I feel like if you're securing a priority zone, the clear sightline only building in the area
you'd
probably
think they
one.
had their own sniper up there.
That's that's a good point.
Like you'd think that guy would have got to the top of that ladder, and there would have been a Secret Service sniper like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing up here?"
Yeah, that's where it bothered me. Looking once I saw the Google like Earth image, and you can see that there's really not even a lot. Like that is the immediate proximal building to the stage, like that. It's really, there's going to be heads have to roll about how that happened. It makes you question if things were planned, which you don't want to be conspiratorial, but
Right. It's just
well, the current head of Secret Service is a horrible, horrible woman.
the security guards were asleep, and the cameras all stopped working at the same time, and there was a power outage, and that's the moment that Trump shot himself with the rifle, right? And
Here's the Secret Service counter sniper.
yeah, so they're right at the venue.
And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
That looked like him getting ready to either let loose or did.
Well, why would he wait until after the shot then?
Yeah, it does look weird because didn't it look like he was adjusting?
It looked more like he
sightline?
was flinching and wasn't. I don't know that this is the guy who took a shot.
Yeah,
He could be facing the other direction for all we know.
yeah.
Yeah, we've got. I'm looking at some people responding in chat
There's
to
just
like
so much stuff coming out so quickly. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I mean, I do. The Hodge twins put out it. No, someone in responding to one of their tweets, somebody replied that it took Biden longer to make a statement on the assassination attempt on Trump than to Trump to come out on January 6th. So I want to quit hearing anything.
Well, that's
about
what
that.
I said, right?
Yeah.
Isn't he culpable for pre-insurrection because he didn't say anything?
Here's the director of the Secret Service.
Oh,
Kimberly
wonderful.
Cheadle is the 27th director of the U.S. Secret Service.
Oh my God,
she into office September 17th of 2022. She's responsible for successfully executing the agency's integrated mission of protection and investigations by leading a diverse workforce composed of more than 70.
Skip down to the prior to appointment part, though.
Yeah, prior to her appointment, Ms. Cheadle served as senior director in global security at PepsiCo.
There it is.
She was responsible for directing and implementing security protocols for the company's facilities in North America.
She protected Pepsi, and that makes her qualified to run the fucking Secret Service.
Fucking serious right now? I am more qualified than this woman for the job she's doing. Like,
She protected vending machines.
oh
I
my
mean,
god.
she was like, we had some crazy incidents about wild cherry Pepsi, but we got through it. So I'm confident I can protect the political leaders of the free world.
They never managed to steal the secret formula on my watch.
Crazy.
It was interesting that Elon immediately responded like all in. I'm endorsing Trump.
Trump fully. Yeah.
And he kept tweeting like, "This is Trump's the toughest presidential candidate since Teddy Roosevelt." And he was going for it. All right,
Smokey's saying that Trump's motorcade has left the hospital.
Yeah, Benny Johnson. I've got the tweet that he just did where I'm going to share it.
Some governor already asking if Trump will make stronger gun control laws on Twitter. Fuck
you ready to add it, Chad?
Yeah, it's on the. So this is his motorcade leaving the hospital. I don't think we need the audio of just
we don't
sirens going
just
blaring, but that is quite the lineup right there. Everybody on the streets looking.
Well, they're definitely not going to let him be not protected at this point.
Nope.
Thanks to her, Pepsi cans bought in Ohio were not taken to Michigan for the 10-cent bottle return.
That is, man, that is the one thing. I know it's a liberal state thing to do it, but I hear my father tell me stories about how he could just go around and make some quick cash as a kid. Returning.
I did it. My grandma
bottles.
used to keep all of her cans, and she had the can crusher, and she's like, "You crush them, you can recycle them and get all the money." And yeah, that'd make me $100. It'd take me an afternoon to crush all those cans, but worth it.
To answer Eclay's question, they're assigned by the Secret Service.
Right.
The protect. You can make requests sometimes to have a specific agent with you, but your detail is organized and determined by the Secret Service agency itself.
Yeah, like Bongino was on Obama's Secret Service detail, and he's now a conservative talk show host, so you don't get to choose anything. It's whoever's most qualified is supposed to be on the president's detail.
Oh, Courtney has a good thing. Oh, no idea what's going on. What's going on?
Courtney,
I'm sure that's got to be a joke.
Yeah,
right.
Attempted assassination of President Trump. But yeah, up in Breckenridge, she may not have gotten any reception most of the day.
Oh, I think Elon must be watching our show because
Likely.
he just tweeted out with the profile from the Secret Service director, and he said, "So before being put in charge of protecting the president, she was guarding bags of Cheetos."
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
man,
everybody's going out there with that one now. If CNN had been around in 1963, JFK falls really, really hard at a rally in Dallas.
Jacqueline Kennedy gets stain on shirt. Oh, we've got all right. We're doing the full heel turn on some of the politicians. Senator London Lamar, who is a state senator for Tennessee, issuing a statement. While I am praying for former President Trump and hope he makes a full recovery, the extremism from the MAGA regime has brought us to this moment.
I told you, they will try to blame the deaths from this on Trump. That his rhetoric led to this.
Yeah, not Biden's. Yeah, Courtney doesn't have any details. So Trump was at a rally in Pennsylvania. Somebody shot at him. He was hit apparently in the top of the ear. It grazed him. Secret Service tackled him to the ground, and they took out the shooter. One other audience member is dead, and there's 2 in critical condition. Happened about 2 hours ago now?
Yep. Here.
2.5 hours maybe.
It was right around 5 o'clock, somewhere right around there, Eastern time. All right, so this is a cool. We got somebody posted a nice aerial image of the venue and drew in where things were. So on the right is where the stage is set up in this location. You can see from when Brahma shared earlier the counter sniper video, we see the white roof where they were set up right
Yep.
behind the stage. And
So
you
he
can
was
see,
pointing directly
yep.
at him then, I think.
So, and then you can see I mean, there is absolutely no freaking excuse for not securing that zone. Like, what is going on?
Well, and how is that guy staring directly that direction
Clearly,
and waits until he's already taken a shot before before the counter sniper?
yeah, I mean, I mean, you can see the difference between the flat rooftops and you can see the grade difference, right,
Yeah.
from where the counter snipers were set up versus the more with low grade rooftop where the actual assassin was setting up his thing. This is ridiculous. Somebody's getting fired.
Some heads are going to roll for this one.
Yeah. I mean, Slender, you just military background with the Navy. I mean, wouldn't you, if I put you in charge of site security for that zone, would you have tried to secure that building?
Yeah, I'd have had someone on that building.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, why wouldn't you have that whole rooftop secured? Like your own people on it.
Yeah.
This is a good
I'd
Babylon.
Had someone on that building.
Good Babylon B
Trump
headline.
Is headed to the UFC event.
Nice. He's going for it. He's trying to lock in the iconic narrative here. Babylon B posted, Trump indicted for inciting assassination attempt.
Right.
This is, I mean, the craziness. All right.
Well, another meme headline: CNN, clumsy Trump hits head on bullet. That one's a meme, but not far off from what they actually reported.
Trump, it's like Trump takes job away from Bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah, aerial drones. I mean, there's the idea that from the description from the eyewitnesses, and bear in mind, eyewitness testimony is the most unreliable of anything that you get. But the idea that they said they saw this guy bear crawling along, up and along that roof to get set up.
That takes a little while.
Yeah.
You would think somebody would have been sweeping over that.
Exactly. And from, now that we saw that the counter sniper was literally positioned to view that zone, there was and the way a sniper team works is you have a spotter and the shooter.
Yeah.
The spotter should have been sweeping, looking. He has binoculars. You start looking around. You should basically be doing a 180, like panning back and forth. There should have been plenty of time to notice, especially when bystanders were pointing it out and yelling. And
dude, this one's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. Was that Rory missing his putt? His 3.5 foot putt.
Yeah, Trump shooter.
That's pretty good.
from the actual Tour Golf account too, wasn't it?
Yep. That was from
Conor McGregor, a 78-year-old multiple billionaire. He should be on a yacht on the Med touring golf courses, but he's not. He's in Pennsylvania spitting out bullets, running for the love of his country. Godspeed, Donald. God bless the United States.
And lefty Twitter has gone insane.
Yes, so lefty Twitter has.
So it's just lefty Twitter then, got it.
Yeah. Now I'm voting for the bullet.
Ooh. This is...
I've got to go over to Libs of TikTok because apparently, well, somebody said it in chat. Libs of TikTok is just posting all the unhinged people screaming about how the person could have possibly missed.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Unhinged leftists having meltdown because the shooter missed Trump.
Razor Fist posted one on Twitter. We have nothing to fear but fear itself. FDR. No man shall ever be debarred the use of arms. Thomas Jefferson. Missed me, faggot. T-Money.
I've got the
they're
video.
coming in hot.
There it is, right there, Brahma. The
Okay.
the girl you just scrolled past.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me pause that and we'll bring it up.
Slender, it looks like we lost your icon if you want to see about.
I just found out about this shit. It just happened. I haven't even had a second to process. You're telling me somebody finally had the balls to bring a pew-pew and he missed! We were a second away! We were a centimeter away from half of the problem being gone and you missed! There was a white man attached to that trigger. I know it! We were a centimeter away! Ah!
Is she trying to imply that
So-
a minority would have been better at making the shot?
I like how she edited for TikTok, calling it a pew pew, when that's what the content was.
Ah.
Upset that somebody wasn't assassinated, but we're going to edit pew pew in there. Morons.
Well,
These
gotta get
people
the
are something
views.
special. They really are.
I mean, I don't know, the performative nature of just wanting to record yourself being upset that a person wasn't assassinated.
Right.
I have very ill will from a political standpoint towards Joe Biden and a lot of people. I do not think I would be happy if someone got assassinated. I would like to defeat them in the venue of ideas and Republican, as not the system of government, not Republican Party. But celebrating, you don't ever celebrate someone getting killed. Like, I mean, a terrorist who kills people. Yeah, I get it. When Trump comes out and talks about Soleimani or some of those other guys, that's a little different than a political rival just running for election, just asking you to vote for them being shot.
What the hell is Destiny saying? Read this one.
If we learned anything today, I hope it's realizing the importance of principles. I've stressed many times on stream before, having a firearm means absolutely nothing if you don't spend time at the range practicing with it.
Oh, shit.
It sounds like Destiny is saying if that guy had practiced more, he'd have got the job done.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm taking from that statement.
That is 100% what he's saying. I saw some people posting, and it's kind of made me think, like, if this guy was actually genuinely rushing up, bear crawling, and then taking his position and shooting in a fairly quick manner, that shot is actually pretty decent. And we got lucky that he.
It is a lot harder to land a shot if you're firing with an elevated heart rate, and I bet that guy was real excited when he did take the shot.
A little bit.
If you don't practice that, it's tough.
So I can't bring it up on this stream, obviously, but Dom Lucre just posted a picture of the shooter after they had popped his head.
Ooh. Pretty
graphic. So if you're on Twitter right now and you don't do well with graphic, maybe don't search it out, but it is out there.
He actually just posted. Oh, yep, there it is. They definitely counter-sniped him.
I don't think the bullet hit the teleprompter because the teleprompters are still set up after he goes down with the Secret Service, and neither of them was showing any damage. There was no like glass explosion or anything.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, you're not going to be able to put that. Yeah,
no, we can't show that. I mean, Slender's probably already got us screwed, but.
Oh, why? Because I read what
yeah,
what old boy said. Grums has posted about it. Apparently, he's calling out Alyssa Mercante, who retweeted Denim's TV, the one who made the joke about putting a bounty on him and Asmongold's head. They're talking about the assassination over there, and he says, one look at the comments and you would see how her and her fans would have reacted. These aren't just jokes from these people, they are disgusting.
Yeah.
Comments include, why do I immediately feel like it's a MAGA stunt? Winged his ear. Really? 500 shootings a year, and this is the one shooter that misses? Welcome back, John Wilkes Booth. How could they miss? I wonder if guns are a problem. I think it was a false flag operation.
Yeah, a lot of
We can
sympathy
never
for
have
the
anything.
3 people that were shot behind him, huh?
Yeah, no shit, right?
1 dead, 2 in critical.
Where was the good guy with the gun? Well, he was on the other roof engaging the target. Amazing it hadn't happened sooner. The violence he has promoted has found its way to him. Staged. They did this in 16 without the capsule. Wow.
Here's Destiny's next post. And normally I don't give Destiny too much breathing room, but since he debates all the people that are on the, on the right side.
Say, I was worried for a minute about what would happen to Biden if he ordered this. But then I remembered, thank God conservatives all agree the president has absolute criminal immunity when acting as his role as commander-in-chief. Wow.
It is such a big-brained thing to jump right into the idea that immunity from prosecution when conducting official acts as the president immediately means you can order people to be killed.
These people condescend. It's the only way they can communicate, apparently.
Yep.
Like, you can't even just be earnest about what you're saying. You have to be fucking sarcastic and condescending and holier than thou. Like, you're sick people. They really are. They're sick.
Very.
It's Kyle Rittenhouse retweeting, the only thing that stops a murderous leftist with a gun is a good guy with a gun. He knows from experience, obviously, on that one. I'm starting to put it, if it's true that the Trump Secret Service team had been asking for additional resources for months, it might explain why they couldn't set up a perimeter that was appropriate. And
at the next one, they should hire Kyle as a private consultant, put an AR in his hands, and have him be on the roof across the street.
Because I mean,
he has field experience.
If, for instance, like, oh, you only need 1 counter sniper team, you only need this many field agents, you can work with local law enforcement to
they have
secure
and everybody from local, yeah.
That's still
DC Drano.
Scoop from a trained sniper?
That whole thing was an effing failure. The Secret Service got there slow. The SWAT team got there slow. And why the F did they keep him on the stage? He should have been off of there in 2 seconds. Yet they stood him up for what? To give the shooter another shot? Look at the old Reagan assassination attempt. He was out of there in 0.2 seconds. Why didn't a drone pick him up? Why did another sniper pick him up? It's effing bullshit. We cover the Boston Marathon better than they cover our former president. So, yeah, that's.
I mean, I will
supposedly from a trained sniper.
I will comment that the Reagan scenario was slightly different in that Reagan was exiting a building towards a vehicle already. Like that was what he was doing.
If anyone says how great of a job Secret Service or SWAT team did, they are full of it. They sucked. They should be ashamed of themselves and all fired.
I mean, there's definitely issues that need to come up. I don't know that if Trump's at a rally and he's speaking on the stage, they got to him as fast as they could to create the human shield. The idea of, I did think that standing him up was a little different, but that could have also been, they might have already got radioed.
You can hear on the audio him arguing with them and saying, "Let me get my shoes." Like,
well, the other thing is clearly the shooter was down fairly quickly.
That's assuming there's only one person.
Yeah,
this is also true.
So
that's a pretty big assumption when somebody's trying to kill Trump. I mean,
But I don't know. Like when he's on stage, though, I don't. You're gonna make Trump belly crawl. I mean, there's
no, I say
other
just stay down
considerations.
at
Yeah,
least for a couple minutes. If you're not going to get him off the stage immediately, stay down, cover him. I don't know.
but
It's not my job,
yeah,
but
and you also you got to believe that Trump was trying to get up. I think Trump was the one who wanted to stand back up at that point.
Well,
yeah. Well,
in
you
all
don't let
honesty,
the
what you want to
stunned
do at
guy.
that point is you want to get a blanket over him to obscure his silhouette. And so the guys around him should have been holding up a blanket so that his silhouette couldn't be seen. Because just standing there, yeah, I mean, if there was another shooter out there, they'd have had him dead to rights. Like,
Yeah.
There were a couple of things that could have been done, and they probably should have been prepared to do, that just didn't happen. Yep, ballistic shields could have been an option too if they had them. If they were being denied resources, they may not have had them. And those ballistic shields, like the good ones, they're heavy.
Well, here's
They're
from
not
Bongino.
light.
Bongino, I want to repeat and can absolutely confirm the USSS Director Kim Cheadle has repeatedly turned down requests for a larger security footprint around President Trump, despite knowing that the threat level is catastrophic. She needs to resign tonight.
That
Yeah,
I mean,
agreed.
And
I
he
will
knows people
even
still on the Secret Service detail.
I will personally buy her whichever flavor Pepsi and whatever type of Frito-Lay chip she wants if she would resign.
Oh, she
Not
gets
that
those
it
for free
matters.
for life.
I mean, so Secret Service works under the Department of the Treasury, right? Or is it? Did they move it under Homeland
I think it's
Security
gone
after it
under
got?
DHS. Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be part of the Treasury, I believe.
It was the weirdest thing that Secret Service were Treasury agents, technically.
Well, they're also in charge of
counterfeiting.
Counterfeit stuff.
Yep. Which was one of the weirdest combination. It's like the Federal Reserve having the dual mandate of money of inflation and joblessness, which sometimes conflict.
Right.
You're the Secret Service. What are your two jobs? Protecting the president and what else? Stopping
Catching
counterfeit
counterfeiters.
bills. It's like those are really, there's a lot of overlapping in that Venn diagram. So, all right, I see Tina. What are the chances this was a local law enforcement individual who was able to get past security? They've already identified him, and he wasn't in the venue.
He was outside of the perimeter.
Davina, it reminds me of the movie The Dead Zone with Christopher Walken. I mean,
Walken.
With it, yeah,
that was a Stephen King book, wasn't it?
Yeah, the difference is Trump had already been president and didn't nuke the world, unlike Martin Sheen. So, don't have to worry so much about that.
Yeah, we covered the video with the guy telling him about the guy on the roof. Don't know what the hell they were thinking.
This already has a Wikipedia page.
Probably.
Wouldn't surprise me.
All right, go into research.
Dave Jaffe is going to be backpedaling fairly quick. He's a liberal dude, famous game designer, right?
Wikipedia 2024 shooting at Donald Trump rally. Wikipedia 2024 assassination attempt of Donald Trump. Yep. Yep. Yeah. On July 13th, 2024, former United States President Donald Trump was injured in a shooting at a rally held at a showgrounds in Butler, Pennsylvania. Law enforcement officials stated that the shooter fired from an elevated position using a rifle and was killed by a Secret Service counter-assault team member. Wow.
Elon Musk was apparently replying to somebody else saying that he should make sure he's got more protection. And Elon confirmed that 2 people on 2 separate occasions have already tried to kill him in the past 8 months alone. They were arrested with guns about 20 minutes away from the Tesla headquarters. So this is your reasonable left versus the extremist domestic terrorist.
I mean, let's not forget what happened at that softball game not even a few years back.
Scalise.
Where Scalise, as a congressman, along with senators, their security is provided by the Capitol Police.
Mm-hmm.
The Capitol Police has basically the equivalent of a Secret Service division, but it's restricted to the upper level, you know, majority leader, minority leader, Senate majority leader,
The whip.
Scalise was one of the top people. I think he was the whip at the time.
Yep.
So the only reason that the security detail was even present was because Scalise decided he wasn't even supposed to be there. He decided he was going to go to that practice, and so Scalise's plainclothes Capitol Police provided protection detail was present, and they were the ones who took out the shooter in that case. And if they had not been there, you would have seen, and it was the Republican caucus, that guy would have
Yeah,
been
it was the
capable of
Republican
taking
team
out
practice.
probably dozens of Republican politicians. Scalise barely lived anyway. And that one doesn't even get counted. It's if you start looking at the statistics when they talk about terrorist events, where they because this is a pet peeve, it's more than a pet peeve, but they talk about the extremism coming from the right, the political violence coming from the right. It's because they don't ever count these ones coming from the left, so they job the statistics, so they tell you 100% of the political violence has come from the right. And I was like, I started looking, I was like, you didn't even count the guy who attacked Rand Paul, his neighbor, when he tackled him and almost killed him.
Right.
You don't count Steve Scalise in the shooting at the stuff. None of that is even included in the statistics they count.
Why not?
The Nashville,
but a crazy lefty going after Pelosi's husband.
yep,
That
counts as right
wing
wing
extremist violence.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the Nashville school shooter, who clearly is a deranged, was.
Dude, what
a
about the
deranged
truck of
leftist.
peace? Like, there's a lot of violence that seems politically motivated over the last, 8 years, and
if you want to do
the majority of it is coming from the right. That has not been what I've seen, not even close.
No, what I would say, if you want to do a deep dive, you can see that it started with the Obama administration. They started altering how they kept statistical records of events
Oh yeah, they love doing that.
to basically make sure that the records that were official government records that were cited would be to the point they wanted to make.
So I'm going to bring this one up. I didn't originally think I would, but so apparently in one of those all hands on deck meetings that Biden had, he had said, "We're done talking about the debate. It's time to put Trump in the bullseye." I wouldn't bring it up normally, except that that's more of a call to arms than let's peacefully or let's peacefully march to the Capitol. And they've basically, well, they've impeached him for that statement, and they still call everything an insurrection.
I mean, the
without bringing
Republicans
up
that are
that
currently
statement.
in office should be drafting articles of impeachment right now, right? He said that. That's clearly inflammatory, potentially violent rhetoric during a time when it looks like he may not continue to be the president. Then this happened, and it took him 3 hours to respond.
Well, it took him 3 hours to get enough stuff into him to actually be able to get out of bed and put on clothes, probably.
Well, they caught him. He was leaving his church in Delaware, which, by the way, I still don't understand why he's able to get communion at a Catholic church. That is an issue. And they got him out of the church after the shooting happened, and they asked him, "Had you been briefed on it?" He was like, "No." And then he went back to his Delaware beach house where he, holds up.
Yeah, Eric K. We had already, before Elon had even put it out, we had already looked at who is in charge of the Secret Service, former PepsiCo.
Yeah, we've
head of security.
We've discussed that quite a bit. Dude, meanwhile, I've worked on nuclear aircraft carriers. I've seen entire teams of Marines walking by the new reactor as it was being driven through the shipyards to be installed. And like, I never thought to myself, Man, I wonder if somebody at Coca-Cola arranged this security detail. That
Trump.
wouldn't make me feel
Hold
good
on.
if that's what it was.
Think about the. Oh, I just figured out the conspiracy. Trump is known to love one beverage above all: Diet Coke. And the person who oversees the Secret Service was a PepsiCo security person. I mean, clearly, it was designed to take out the number one seller of Diet Coke in the United States. This is, I just scrolling Twitter to see who said what about these things is
Yeah,
so ridiculous.
it's crazy. But Biden coming out, I mean, he came out for what, 3 minutes? Basically said this is not appropriate.
He shuffled on. I
That's
noticed he was
as
wearing like.
strong as that's as
I
as
mean, come
strong a
on, man.
condemnation as you can come up
I
with.
noticed he couldn't even wear real like dress shoes. He was wearing like Skechers with his suit, and I know that's a
he
new
always
thing.
does that.
I get the new generation likes to do that, but it bothers me.
No, it's because he has to have something that has some grip because he's likely going to fall.
It started with Ben Stein, didn't it? Didn't he always wear Skechers with his suit?
Younger people do that. I see it. They wear tennis shoes with dress clothes, and it just short circuits my senses. But
Hey, Mrs. Flu. Yeah, it's a bit insane today.
it is so insane.
Also, Magitech Mags in the chat. Lots of cool people in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're up to 28 watching now. I don't know if that's because other streams have started slowing down, or we're providing excellent commentary, because we are.
I'm kind of just waiting to see if he shows up at UFC.
Yeah, I really want to show the video of him making that entrance. It's going to be amazing. Like, the chants are it's definitely going to be a USA chant. It'd be nice if Biden could remember how to chant USA.
All right.
Is
you guys handle this for a minute. It's starting to rain here, and my Jeep top is off, so I've got to go save my car from the rain. I'll be right back.
Is old boy gonna be there with Trump? Dana
White, yep. White.
He's
Dana
gonna
White's
be there,
always
right?
there. Yeah.
The whole entourage is gonna come in.
I just want to see which celebrities are going to be. Where's the UFC event tonight? It is at. Come on, where is it?
I was gonna say I'm waiting for you to get the info.
I just, it's weird. They don't always put the venue.
Yeah.
Where it's going to be at. Well, let me see which UFC fight night. Dang it. Why can't? Shouldn't they know? Oh, number one search. Where's the UFC fight tonight? July 13th, 2024 is taking place at Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado.
What?
So he's going to fly out to Colorado?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, when you've got a private jet, you can do what you want.
I was gonna say the man has planes. Yep, Ball Arena, Denver, Colorado.
Oh, Brahma should try to go buy.
Yeah,
tickets.
Brahma should go see if he can say hi to the president.
It's gonna be history. I don't even know. You know what? The scalping price on those tickets probably just went up through the roof.
No, that's a chick fight. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, it's the main event. There's other fights that they're gonna do.
Yeah. Surprised the main event is a women's flyweight.
They've done women main events before.
I don't know. That's interesting.
All right, crisis averted.
The event is in Denver, Brahma.
Yeah, the UFC already started. He's not going, according to Tina.
Tina Guzman. No, he could get there.
Well, he doesn't show up for the undercard and the mid card.
Well, let's see. What's a flight time from PA to Denver?
It's probably about 2 hours, 2+.
3 hours 58 320. That's if you're playing commercial. He could probably
He's on Trump Force 1.
Trump Force.
You could tell the pilot, "Hey man, floor it. We're not gonna get pulled over, I promise."
All right, flight time is about 3.5 hours.
I don't think he's gonna make it.
There is
He
a time
announced
difference.
He was going
too.
earlier. At least Twitter says that he announced he was going earlier. Like, since this happened.
Yeah. Well, this says supposedly the event starts today at 10 p.m. I'm assuming it's giving me Eastern time, so it started just a minute ago.
Right. The actual pay-per-view portion of the fights.
Yeah.
Likely. Which means there's probably 2 hours till the main event.
Main event. Trump usually saunters in for the main event.
Yeah. Which means if he left an hour ago, he'd be close. We'll see.
And
I could see him calling up Dana White and being like,
"Stay live for 2 more hours, though, waiting just to see that." We can cover that in the morning.
Yeah, you guys got another show to do in the morning.
Well, yeah, the monologue that I had written for tomorrow is going to have to change quite a bit.
Yeah, same for here. Here's another one.
Right. If
I
it was the CIA, I don't think they'd have missed.
No, I was making some. Well, I made it. Somebody said that in one of my chats that I'm in, and they're like, "Oh, if it would have been the CIA, they wouldn't have missed." And I was like, the CIA is only good at hitting Kennedys.
Wow.
Well, they didn't get Reagan. They got 2 Kennedys. They're 2-0 on
wrong.
Kennedys. I was like, if I'm RFK Jr., I'm probably really requesting that security.
Now it's actual news. People are actually trending that Musk talked about the 2 assassination attempts on him that were thwarted.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. I just threw it in there because he happened to say it. But
yeah, so Dana White will be at UFC tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if Dana White had something to say about this.
I'm sure there will be quite a bit said during the broadcast, but I'm not going to pay the $80 to watch it.
It's going to be, the videos are going to be on Twitter all over the place. So
yeah, I'm not paying.
You don't need to pay for. I'm not watching the fight. I want to see the reaction, and in fact,
yeah, I want to see everything but the fights tonight.
The pop is going to be crazy. Plus, the video feeds from the Twitter are going to show the celebrities going nuts for him and high fiving.
Yeah,
that's what it's going to be. That's going to be the crazy shit, and it'll be awesome. Yeah, I think. We've kind of covered everything that we could, that is known and coverable right now. I do think I would not be surprised if the director of the Secret Service doesn't resign next week, because this is too embarrassing even for. Sometimes the government has to protect itself, and they need a fall guy for stuff like this.
Well, on that thing, DC Drano just tweeted, "Scoop: Congress is bringing in the Secret Service to testify about how the hell they allowed a sniper on a roof to shoot at Trump." So Congress is already starting the investigations.
If there was one thing you could hold an emergency hearing for, it's going to be like, how the living F. Now, and if this was 1970 and there were only 3 news stations that did nightly news and people didn't have access to the internet and couldn't see footage, or I should say images of the way that zone was set up to see, like, hey, here's a building 300 feet from the stage that has a clear sight line.
Yeah, over a football field away.
Look, we're like at 2-3 hours after the event, and we've got like Google Earth images, satellite reconnaissance to show us exactly where everybody was.
Former AG Bill Barr has made a statement. The Democrats have to stop their grossly irresponsible talk about Trump being an existential threat to democracy. He is
and
not.
Then Bill Barr followed up with, and I still didn't find any irregularities in the 2020 election. He's a douche.
That's because you didn't look, asshole.
Exactly.
I hate that everybody says it's debunked. I'm like, no, it's not freaking debunked, okay? There is all sorts of smoke, and everybody decided, well, if we just don't look for the fire, then the fire's not there.
Yep. Our show tomorrow is going to be fun. I wonder what'll become. We'll have some UFC videos to share. We'll have updated monologues from me and Brahma about what's going on. That'll be good.
Since we covered this tonight, I mean, we'll cover it tomorrow, but I may still go on with the monologue that I had already written. Maybe throw a little bit about this in there, but
yeah, that would be peak gaslighting, as Davina Duckworth says. Yeah. We knew who we have images of who the shooter formerly was. The identity is apparently been debunked. What was being shared on Twitter earlier was not accurate. And
no.
What about him being associated with Antifa?
Well, yeah.
That seemed
the
highly
specific
convenient.
person that they were showing the picture of.
Yeah. I don't know if the name may still be the same. It's the person that they were putting the image out of. It was apparently proven now to be a Hank. It was a picture of a YouTuber.
There needs to be more time for real confirmations and not just speculation.
Yeah, I just hope
which is why we're trying to be careful about what we're actually putting up.
Yeah, everything we've said tonight is like at least 75% speculation.
Well, not the fact that we showed the images and we're like, how the F did someone get to that rooftop?
Yes, that stuff is pretty true. Like, there's really no way that to say that's speculation. That's in the 25%. That's definitely a thing.
I mean, because we've got the confirmed images of the dude on that rooftop post incident, so we know he was up there.
Soul, he'll say something incredibly ignorant and stupid. I mean, I don't have to wait for him to speak to know that he's going to say something incredibly ignorant and stupid.
Mark Hamill, what he's going to say. Yeah. I mean, rumors travel faster than the speed of light. Yeah, that is.
And his foot has a hyperdrive to his mouth.
I think Mark Hamill might end up firmly in the camp of why, like conspiracy theorists. He's based on his previous. You think
he'll be one of the people who's like #BB gun?
Based on his previous tweets, I think he'll be, which is funny because of how much these people have had to say about Alex Jones. And they're going to be effectively doing the same thing that Alex Jones, was alleged to have done regarding Sandy Hook. And they're going to do.
How many of them have $1 billion to pay out?
I mean, I don't know, but I will say that all these people saying that this is a false flag and that these are crisis actors, they are getting me really shook up. And I want that to be on record because I may have to seek some sort of financial recompense from them because of how sad it makes me that they're saying these things.
And all of this was just to overshadow Richard Simmons dying.
I mean, sweating to the oldies.
Richard Simmons died?
Yeah.
Yeah, he died earlier today.
He was 76.
I did see a meme.
He was such a nice guy.
Randy from South Park with his balls in the in the wheelbarrow. Just said, "This is how Trump's going to enter the arena tonight."
I mean, if Trump were single, God knows what he could pull now. I mean, we know from the audio tapes, but the electricity in it's going to be the kind of pop that you would get if you were the mainline headliner of like a WrestleMania and everyone loved you. Like, we're talking peak rock attitude era pop in that auditorium. It's going to be ridiculous. Although it is in Denver, so you never know. Denver is kind of skeezy.
Father Miller put out a picture of Hillary looking puzzled, and it just says, "What do you mean they missed?"
It's like, that doesn't happen. Like, I did see some jokes about how Trump beat her in the ballot box in 2016 and beat the kill teams in 2024.
Well, and it's somewhat easy to take it lightly because, I mean, Trump is obviously fine, but we do also need to remember that one person died and possibly two others.
So, two are in critical condition. Yep.
Don't want to be too lighthearted about it, but
this was not without its cost, and
they were just there to watch a rally.
I will say this: I bet knowing what Trump's done in the past for people, that he will probably, maybe not, I don't know how
Dude, he will
publicly,
make
but
sure that the families
he'll
of those
probably
people are taken
reach
care
out
of.
and try to take care of things for him.
Yeah, I would not doubt it. He already sent his well wishes to the families in his it's not a tweet. What is it on a Truth Social? His truth bomb.
Yeah,
I
they
guess.
call them truths. Yeah, it's
Okay.
which I mean, social
It's
media.
better than X's or whatever we're supposed to call.
I think they just need to put him back to Twitter, but it's fine.
Yeah, I wish he would do a poll on that so that we could all tell him, yeah, just put it back to where it was.
Yeah, how about that Vox Populi there, Elon?
Yeah, and other people are bringing up Dr. Ruth also passed away today.
Oh,
Do you know who Dr. Ruth is?
Yeah,
Isn't
the
she
little
the
Dr.
sex
Ruth
doctor?
Westheimer.
Yeah,
She
the
was like
sex
the short
doctor.
little like Germany kind of woman.
She was weird.
Sam Beckett leaped into her in one episode of Quantum Leap.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. Did not know that.
You don't remember that one? It was funny because it was always funny when they had to put Scott Bakula into like the women's clothes, because back then that was funny. And he was also supposed to only be like 4 feet tall.
Chad. It's still funny today. We're just not allowed to laugh at it anymore.
Looks like Bongino's making a statement about
I do see a tweet from Cardillo, the former NYPD guy who's been doing, where a shooter was about 150 yards from Trump on a rooftop with direct line of sight to the stage. It defies every security protocol ever written that this rooftop was not secured and law enforcement personnel were not standing up there already.
Yeah.
Also, though, for all the lefties who are like, I can't believe he missed. I can't believe he missed. If you're not trained, and you've never taken a shot like that, 150 yards is not as close as you think it is. That's a distance.
I mean, that is.
And I don't know what kind of rifle he had, if he was using a scope, or if you're using iron sights, that's a tough shot. That's an interesting one.
I don't think you go with iron sights for that.
Obviously, I mean, if you're in a Secret Service assault team, no. But if you're some random asshole who's trying to assassinate someone, I don't know. I don't know what you're using.
A 5.56 AR-15 is usually considered lethal at a maximum of somewhere between 250 and 300 yards.
Yeah, I'm not talking about max effective range. I'm talking about what that looks like from that distance.
You don't know
what real far away. That's a small target to the naked eye.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't know what kind of optics he would have. I mean, there's a lot of
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's not as easy. Yeah, Eric K says I could do 150 yards all day long, but with what kind of sight?
Well, let's listen in and react on Bongino real quick.
It's time for a full presidential package for President Trump. If you go back and listen to episode 2079, President Trump does not have that. He doesn't have that now. I get it. There are some legalities involved. But President Trump is a former president running for re-election. You essentially have two incumbents running. Folks, he does not have a full presidential package right now. It is putting the man in danger. His threat level is apocalyptic and catastrophic. It is time right now for Kim Cheadle, the Secret Service director, to get her head out of her ass and do the right thing. I could tell you stories for days about her putting politics ahead of presidential protection. I am not being overly emotional because I've said it before. The Secret Service director is utterly unqualified right now to be doing what she's doing. It is time for her first to get this thing solved. It's an emergency situation right now, and find out what happened. But she should step down immediately. Some of the things she has told people on that detail about security arrangements, clearly making political statements, she is completely unqualified. It is time for President Trump to have a full presidential package. I'll leave you with this, and then I'm asking you all, please, again, it's in these times where You know, I'm not some freaking poet, man. So I don't. We don't need to do any of that stuff. I'm just saying, you know, like when these people get lost at sea, they have lighthouses and stuff for a reason. You know, God's that one for you, and He's that one for us right now. Just ask. Just open up. Prayer matters. It's not a joke. It's not some scam. What do you think? This was all created out of some kind of alien mist or something? We need them right now. The nation needs them. We're still the United States of America, even though we got a lot of crazy people. You don't want some foreign country right now taking advantage of this chaos. End on this.
It's only like 30 seconds.
Listen, I say all the time, maybe put a little smile on your face in a really tragic time. Campaigns are snapshots and sound bites. That's all they are. Donald Trump's got a lot of guts, man, getting up there, exposing himself again to what he knew was an assassination attempt, and pounding his fist in the air. That snapshot's going to live forever. That was a clip from...
That is true.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to probably be, you know...
Probably won't make Time Magazine's cover, though.
No, but you know who did make Time Magazine's cover?
Jill.
Hitler.
Yeah, that too.
It is, I mean, the iconic pictures that come out of events like this, I mean, what is it, JFK, we had, I mean, everyone remembers the picture of, like, Jackie climbing and grabbing. I mean, you get that image.
Trying to grab his brains off of the back of the car.
Yeah. That led, by the way, to another crazy iconic image, which was when Lyndon Johnson was being sworn in with Jackie Kennedy standing right next to him on the plane. You get, you know, I'm trying to think.
Well, the image of
Nixon
Jr.
resigning
underneath the desk in the Oval Office, that kind of stuff.
You get Nixon resigning, you know, where he turns when he's going up the helicopter, Marine One, and he turns around and he, you know, does the hand gesture. It's crazy. I mean, this is one of the you don't always you can go whole presidencies without iconic images, or you have your presidency defined by like one. I think of Bush, right? The iconic image that basically sealed W's fate was the mission accomplished banner behind him on that aircraft carrier. It just locked up everybody's. It solidified everybody's thoughts about everything he did wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be solidifying everybody's thoughts about what they think of Trump. Like it's and right or wrong, because on the right side, it's going to be an iconic image of strength. On the left side, they're probably going to see basically the thug that they think is going to be, you know, the next Yahtzee. And this might lock him up into that. So, I don't know.
Yep. Well, and that's part of the reason we went live today, because this is a historic moment in U.S. history. It is the attempted assassination of a presidential candidate who also happened to be a former president. And if we're going to cover something, that's exactly what we're going to be here for, and what the new show is about, is covering the politics, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I definitely didn't expect this to be something that would ever. I mean, I was obviously, I should say, in the back of my mind, this year I had concerns that this was a possibility.
I wish I was surprised, but as I have said on numerous occasions, it seems like for the last year or so, every couple of weeks we're like, oh, they'd never do that. They'd never go that far. And then right after we're like, holy shit, I can't believe it. They did. And then a couple weeks later, it's like, yeah, but they'd never go that far. Holy shit, they did. So like this happened.
I've said it on multiple Yelling at Parked Cars episodes that this was a likely possibility. I mean, I've been saying it for a year and a half. I was surprised it didn't happen during the first term.
If anything, it also seems that it's going to become more of a likely possibility as Biden's deterioration has been known now, finally exposed through the media, I would say the risk of this actually has gone up exponentially. Because
Well, and Bongino's right. The deterioration of Biden also is opening us up to if China or Russia, or well, Russia's got its hands a little bit full, but if anybody was going to try to pull something with the U.S. right now, this is our weakest. Everybody saw what Biden. Well, the news is telling everybody where Biden is. I mean, we've all said it for a few years, but even saying that he's only basically functional from 10 to 4, I mean, that's just an open invitation at this point. And we all think that there's been plenty of people who have come across the border with less than nice intent.
Bill Ackman just came out and officially full-throated endorsed Trump and said he will do what he can. I mean, we're talking now like a billionaire's billionaire coming on board. Like the funding wise, Trump is going to have a lot of, like, this is, if you want to talk about political consequences, the money the RNC will probably have to now affect down ballot races is going to be much, much greater than they expected.
Newsweek's headline: MAGA responds with outrage after Donald Trump injured at Pennsylvania rally.
Let's talk about burying the goddamn lead, assholes. Right there. MAGA responds with outrage after Donald Trump injured. Let's leave out the assassin, the bull, like getting up there and actually shooting.
Another CNN headline: Trump speech interrupted by Secret Service.
Injured? He was fucking shot at.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
I mean, it didn't kill him, but he was shot.
And by the way, Bride of Slender has joined us.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, she's.
I don't know if you can hear her back there.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Eric K.
Oh, so this will be fun. So it looks like we'll be back here in a little over 12 hours.
This one's funny. Biden after having to speak for 5 minutes. Trump after getting shot in the head.
Yeah,
we're not going to do the music.
Oh, shaving. He is a WWE Hall of Famer.
And they did tell him how to find the main camera, because the second he got up after getting shot, he looked directly at the main camera and put his fist up. He knew exactly where it was.
And this is the advantage of Trump. I spent years arguing with people who are more traditional minded that, like, well, Trump gives us, I was like, no, Trump gives you your strongest chance of winning. He understands media in a way that none of the other candidates do. There's none of the, I can't think of any Republican candidate who would have had the prescience to get up, know that he needed to find the camera and create basically that iconic image. You could see him almost formulating his head, like, I have to let people know I'm still here. I have to project strength. This is, here I am.
Yeah.
Nikki Haley wouldn't have
just
done
wanting
that.
to walk to the car instead of being, taken to the car.
Yep. It's why it's why you have to take sometimes the bad stuff that comes with Trump, because he can hit home runs. He might strike out every now and then, but he can knock them out of the park.
Yep. He knows how to cater his image. Even though sometimes that image is just he's a dick. But him being a dick is also one of the strongest foreign policy statements we've made in the past,
I think Team America said it best, right? Yeah. I might be a dick, but he's an a-hole. And
dicks also fuck assholes.
And you are Yeah. Don't want to completely ever scrap Brahma's channel from being monetized.
I don't think it would. I don't think quoting Team America is going to be the thing that does it.
You know, as a political
What
science
else
major,
would it be? Man, I'm reading some of these freaking headlines. Shooting at Trump rally is being investigated as assassination attempt, Associated Press sources say. What else would it be investigated as? It was an assassination attempt. There's no way around that.
Murder of innocent man on roof.
It's like, you know, basically it's like the clip from The Jerk. Somebody really hates these
These
teleprompters. They're going after the teleprompters.
Dude, Good Samaritan attempts to give Trump impromptu trim as he notices hair touching his ear.
Yeah. It is, I mean, it
And
is
we do
crazy.
have some alleged before images of the shooter, but since I don't know that they're real,
yeah, I saw those
there's
too.
multiple people showing those now.
Unfortunately, a lot of times they're adding it to the after picture too, which makes that difficult to show.
Another headline from Associated Press: live updates. Trump says he was shot in the ear during rally. One attendee and shooter are dead. Like, he says he was, huh?
I do see the conspiracy theory on some formulating on the right that this was their way of being able to set up eliminating Biden and blaming a MAGA.
Right.
Like, because that takes both their problems out, right? They get to eliminate, they replace Biden through that system, and they get to, you know, to get the to blame the MAGA people for doing it.
So Colorado Assemblyman Stephen Woodrow actually was dumb enough to tweet this out. The last thing America needed was sympathy for the devil, but here we are.
Colorado is a problem.
Wow.
I was listening to another YouTuber who was talking about the Baldwin trial, and I guess he resides in Colorado, and he was like, "It's amazing how fast they California'd Colorado." It's just like,
yeah, the second we legalized pot, it California'd us.
Yep.
Because all the Californians came here. I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that because Talks had stated earlier it's weird that Baldwin is let off and then suddenly Trump gets shot.
No, I mean, clearly, I don't. The
Baldwin doesn't miss.
Yeah. It's just Colorado. Colorado used to be. Colorado was one of the places. Yeah. Well, so was Virginia, but Colorado was one of the states I always considered like, you know, that wouldn't be a bad place to live. It's got like, it's a beautiful state.
Oh, I changed my mind the second they legalized a certain recreational substance.
And they were pushing for that in Virginia too. Luckily, Governor Youngkin vetoed. They wanted to create the cannabis marketplace to be able to sell it for recreational use. Because right now it's legal. It's decriminalized, I should say, but it's not. There's no actual official.
It's still
you can't sell it. Yeah, it's still a controlled.
Dude, here's the problem, right? What's the one thing that brings down property value quicker than anything else?
Cars on blocks.
Unmowed grass. What are you not gonna have the motivation to do if you're high?
I'm gonna guess you're gonna go with mow the lawn.
Exactly. So, ergo, recreational marijuana reduces property value. My logic is bulletproof. Don't argue.
That's maybe one tiny portion. Yeah. No, the bigger problem is like when I used to ride on the motorcycle around town. I mean, it's all you smell in places where it's legal now. I mean, the last time I went to Vegas, I mean, you're walking up and down the strip and it's just, you know, pot hitting you left and right. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you think about pot. I mean, just having everything smell like pot.
Dude, I hate the smell of it. It reminds me of burnt hamburger meat.
Instead of skunk?
Yep.
I don't know.
So the little crazy leftist TikToker that we watched the video of has done a second video.
Backtracking it.
Well, no, she's
Did they
only
already do a
backtracking.
retraction?
She's only backtracking in that she's upset that other people were
Are
hurt when they
upset.
should have been focused just on hurting Trump.
Right, right. If only they hadn't missed, then those other people wouldn't have
Yeah.
got hurt.
Right now, I'm kind of watching it on background, and she's into her screed about Trump building his whole platform on hate for everybody, which is the biggest lie. But
Oh, here we go. George Takei. Politicians on the left are calling for unity and no violence. Politicians on the right are stoking things further. Voters in the center, how about you join with those of us wishing to turn the temperature down, not crank it up, for all our sakes. Yep, we're the ones stoking it.
oh yeah, Steve
Sure.
Woodrow. Did you say he delete? You saw he deleted his account, right?
Good.
Breaking: Colorado State Rep Stephen Woodrow just deleted his account following a demented tweet about the attempted assassination of President Trump. So he nuked his Twitter account.
Oh, here's another one from Destiny. I'm honestly conflicted on how I feel about the shooting, but we'll chat about it on the stream tomorrow. I don't know what you can be conflicted about. Hopefully, this is what finally does Destiny's career in.
You'd think it would have been the PDF type support, but
or the dropping the N-bomb multiple times back on Twitch back in the day. But he's on the right side, so.
Yep. All right, I think.
Yeah, I do see that Woodrow's account is gone now.
Yeah, as Davina says, the internet record is forever. Yeah, be careful what you put out there.
Yeah.
Gotta remember it's gonna be there.
Jaffo, Cuck has bad take. Shocker.
Right. Harry Sisson about a JD Vance tweet. JD Vance said, "Today is not just some isolated incident. The central premise of the Biden campaign is that President Donald Trump is an authoritarian fascist who must be stopped at all costs. That rhetoric led directly to President Trump's attempted assassination." Harry Sisson's response: "What a disgusting statement from a sitting U.S. Senator. This is not the time for politics or division."
What?
But it's just politics.
And this isn't an isolated incident.
Yeah.
During the Summer of Love, there were there was at least one person that I know of that was shot for wearing this hat in Seattle, I believe. I don't know if you guys remember
that guy, like, they have the audio. Like, we got another one.
Yeah, we've got
MAGA
there's
over
one
here.
over here. Get him.
Click, click. Like, this has been happening a lot, which is sad because one time is too many, and there have been dozens of incidents over the last handful of years. So I'm sorry, but you know how, like, every time there's the mass shooting and we're like, thoughts and prayers, let's not jump to conclusions. Now is not the time to have a knee-jerk emotional response, and we get yelled at and told something needs to be done. Your thoughts and prayers are insufficient. Well, the shoe's on the other foot, so you can all fuck off now.
Yeah, telling us to settle down is less effective than thoughts and prayers.
I'd rather you said thoughts and prayers. At least that's a kindness.
Yeah, what are you guys getting all riled up for? Crazy.
Dude, just be happy we're still rattling the sabers, because when we stop rattling the sabers, they come out. And as we know from all watching The Acolyte, a MAGA doesn't remove his saber unless he means to kill.
The power of many.
The power of many.
No. Yeah, that is
meant to distract us from Joe Biden's failing brain.
Sometimes I see that about like everything has got like a counter, on what is it distracting from? I was like, this Trump was effectively millimeters, centimeters, inches, whatever measurement you want to use.
A slight gust of wind.
A slight gust of wind from being gone. That wasn't meant to distract. That was the goal. That was the operative goal. Like it's not a distraction. I mean, the idea that the Secret Service would leave that kind of zone undone, unprotected, the end result is what they were trying, was what almost happened. It wasn't for distracting anything. It was removing the piece from the board. I don't think there was anything more to it than that.
And I'll join with a lot of other people saying divine intervention.
Yep. I mean, I know that, like there's the conspiracy theory I quoted earlier where someone was tweeting about this would be able to set the stage for possibly the same scenario with Biden, but it's successful. In the end, they were trying to get, the person was doing it and it's not like, the way it works is you don't have somebody, it's not necessarily a grand conspiracy where you have a squad like the Clintons do, where you give them orders and they go execute them. You hype up enough people every day telling them that this man is the greatest threat to the world, that he will, intern people, that he's going to do all these terrible things. And then you leave a place open where they can set up on a roof. You don't need to put anything in writing. You don't need to do it. Brahma might remember, when Lois Lerner was doing what she was doing at the IRS, and they could never find any orders because they didn't need to give her any orders. You put the person in place that you knew what they were going to do, so you don't have to write it down.
Let's go back and just remind ourselves a little bit.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. But there's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country. MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards to an America where there is no right to choose, no right to privacy, no right to contraception, no right to marry who you love. Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans quote a clear and present danger to our democracy. But while the threat to American democracy is real, I want to say as clearly as we can, we are not powerless in the face of these threats. MAGA Republicans have made their choice. They embrace anger. They thrive on chaos. They live not in the light of truth, but in the shadow of lies. We've told ourselves that American democracy is guaranteed, but it's not. We have to defend it, protect it, stand up for it, each and every one of us. We're all called by duty and conscience to confront extremists who put their own pursuit of power above all else. We must be stronger, more determined, and more committed to saving American democracy than MAGA Republicans are to destroying American democracy. MAGA Republicans look at America and see carnage and darkness and despair. They spread fear and lies. Lies told for profit and power. The MAGA Republicans believe that for them to succeed, everyone else has to fail.
The framing of that whole speech. Are you muted, Brahma?
Yeah, car going by again.
Okay. Yeah, the way they framed that speech with the red and the blacks and, behind him, it was demonic. It was it was a demonic call to action.
Dude, you,
I
you
mean,
play the Imperial March behind that, and you've got a scene out of a Star Wars movie. Like,
Yep.
and
it's bad.
and that's what they've been setting the stage. You don't need to, again, you don't need to have some grand conspiracy where you where you have documents and you train someone and you do it. You put it in motion. You have the entire media behind you every day, 24/7, parroting that this person is the greatest. Like, if you're basically trying to make people feel like they're going to be heroes, right? If you had the chance to stop somebody in 1930 before anything happened, wouldn't you do it? And they're creating in these mentally ill people the idea that I'm doing the greatest thing for the world.
Yeah, I'm
That
gonna be a hero. I'm gonna
yeah.
save the democracy of America.
Well, here's another tweet. Does MAGA now understand why Democrats have fought against Donald Trump's violent political rhetoric for so long? This is what we were afraid of.
Dude, what happened tonight was what you were.
You were afraid
Oh
of
my
your
God.
side shooting.
We were really afraid
Sure.
of our people who are, mostly afraid of guns. We were afraid that they might get some guns and do some things that we have talked about a lot, but we pretend like we don't like. When in all actuality, they just want to strip us of our guns so that they're the only ones who can point guns at us.
Yeah, so it's they. I mean, I'm so sick and tired of being blamed where it's right wing violence. What it is not. It is, the violence is overwhelmingly done by people. I mean, the summer of love, that was set in motion.
Well, that doesn't count as violence somehow.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this. I brought it up during the thing, but according to Southern Belle, Ronnie Jackson was interviewed on Fox and said that his nephew was one of the people shot.
That's terrible.
Now, shot, is his nephew in a hospital, or did his nephew not make it?
Don't know.
That's
I would assume if it said shot, then he's one of the people, in the hospital.
I mean, prayers up.
Not the one deceased. So.
And the left has been going after Ronnie Jackson and his family for basically years now.
Probably.
Well, I hope he makes a full recovery. At least it seems like it. He wasn't one of the people the one who passed away already.
Right.
With
I think the wording would have been different.
Yeah. The hopefully good thing is people who are in critical condition from gunshot wounds, they've done a lot of stuff in the last 20 plus years to be able to treat those very effectively if you can get them to a facility. So this is terrible. I mean, this guy he had a target. He didn't care what was behind it. He didn't care about any other stuff. He clearly, I mean, there's no way you go into that not knowing that you're not leaving that place doing that.
Right.
That it's a one-way
Just like the people on the left who have been self-immolating.
Mm-hmm.
I've never understood that as a method of protest. That seems silly to me.
Well, yeah. Pretty pointless move. But
I mean, yeah.
We're going on 2.5 hours. I think we've talked about everything that we can talk about on this right now with the information that's available, and we've gone over plenty of Twitter. So I think we should probably bring this to a close.
I think that's probably a fair point.
Resume in the morning for the usual bullpen.
That's a good plan.
So thank you very much for joining us, Slender, and kind of giving us a push to get going quicker. There will, excuse me, there will be no bourbon and boarding tonight. There's just too much other crap going on. So, yeah, we will be back at what time are we doing it? 10:30 Mountain,
12:30
Eastern. So hope everybody has a great night. Thanks for hanging out with us during this emergency episode of the Bullpen, and we hope to see you in the morning. And yeah, prayers to Trump and his family, and to the other affected families from what happened today. So
Yep.
hope everybody has a good evening. We'll talk to you soon.
Night, everybody.
Night, everyone.